Good afternoon, one and all. In this session, we are going to learn how to generate histograms and bullet charts in Tabula, and along with how to create the parameters in Tabula. Right? So, coming to the content, so how to develop an histogram, how to develop the bullet charts, and how to develop the parameters. So, firstly, histogram. So, for this, I am going to open my Tabula. So, in my Tabula, I am going to connect it to sample superstore data source. So the sample superstore data source is connected in the tabula. Now I am going to drag the order table which was already there here. So here the order table was dragged into the canvas, and in the sheet 1 I am going to copy certain text. So for this I am going to open my Excel file. So let me open my Excel file. So desktop. So in this, I am going to select Excel file called region. So the data which I have included in the region was copied into the tabula. So this is the data. So here I am going to copy this one and I am going to paste it in tabula workspace. Now the data is copied. Now we copied the content of Excel sheet region onto the tabula. Now we are going to drag the measure target onto the column shelf. So here the data source is a clipboard. So in this I am going to drag the target measure onto the columns. So here I have dragged the target measure onto the columns. Now here you can clearly see that a horizontal bar was generated. Now coming to the next one, here I am going to select my sample superstore data source, and in this I am going to drag the measure sales onto the column. So I am going to drag the measure sales onto the column. Now here you can clearly observe that two parts of the graph was divided. Now I am going to select the show me option, and in the show me option I am going to select the bullet chart. So once I am going to select the bullet chart, it will automatically displays the two types of the bars. So here I am going to select bullet graphs. So here you can clearly see that the two graphs are combined and some bullets was established in the region south, north, and central, etc. So in this way, we can develop a bullet charts in Tabula. Now, coming to the second one, the second part is generating the histograms in Tabula. So for generating the histograms in Tabula, I am going to select another data source. So for this, I am going to select my new sheet and I am going to add my data source. So for this, I am going to connect to an Excel file. Let me take my Excel file as hospital waiting time. So which consists of patient ID, wait time, and count. So here is the data. Now I am going to select the sheet 2. Now in this I am going to drag the following things into the canvas. So first I am going to rename the canvas as histogram. Now I am going to select and I am going to rename the canvas as histogram. Now in this I am going to drag the measure wait time onto the column shelf. That is, here I am going to drag the wait time onto the column shelf. Now I am going to select the show me option. I am going to select an option called histogram. So let me select the histogram option. And here you can clearly see that some histograms was generated with the wait time as bins, with the x-axis as count of the wait time. Now in this I am going to select certain things. So for this I am going to select the inverted triangle of wait time here. So in the inverted triangle of wait time I am going to edit certain connections. So let me open the inverted triangle of wait time and I am going to edit certain collections. So here let me edit this one. So in the edits, it has provided the size of the bins. Let me include my size of the bins as 7. That is, I am going to change the size of the bins as 7, and maximum value also I am going to change it as 90. So here the maximum value is also changed to 90. Let me delete this one, or okay. So here I am going to range of the values here. So range of the values may be 4 or 90 or whatever it may be. So let me add this one, or wait of the time, or we can enter the value. So let me change the size of the bins. So create a new parameter or enter the value, and here I am going to select an OK. And here you can clearly see that the wait time was divided, and as well as count of wait time is also changed. Now after getting the selected, now I am going to drag the measure wait time onto the color tab. So wait time onto the color tab, and here you can clearly see that the values of the colors was changed for the particular histograms. Now I am going to drag the count onto the label of the marks card. So clearly you can clearly see that the count time along with the bin values and wait time and as well as count of wait time is also displayed in the histograms. So in this way we can create an histograms in Tabula. Now coming to the third content, which is the most important one, how to create the parameters in Tabula. So for creating certain parameters in Tabula, we need to add certain measurements. So let me add this one. Now for this, I am going to select another sheet and I am going to connect to the data source. Let me change it as a sample superstore data source itself only. So here I have connected the data source, and here dimensions, measures, sets and parameters are the sub options. So for this, after connecting to the sample superstore data source, we are going to create a bar chart with the following. So we are going to drag the dimension subcategory. Let me select the subcategory product. Let me add subcategory. Yes, the subcategory dimension onto the columns and as well as measure sales onto the rows. And once I drag and drop in here, you can clearly see that a horizontal bar was displayed. Now the bar chart appears with the vertical bars. Now we are going to change the bars to horizontal bars. So for this, I am going to change it to horizontal bars. So for this, I am going to select this option, that is swapping of the rows. And here you can clearly see that the bars was changed. Now we are going to sort these horizontal bars to descending order. So let me make it as descending order. And here you can clearly see that the graph was appeared as a descending order. Now I am going to create a measure. So for this, what I am going to do, select the measure sales and right click and choose the option create and choose the option parameter. So for this, I am going to select the sales, and here I am going to create an option called create and I am going to select an option called parameter. Now a pop-up will be appeared with the following. So we are going to change the details. So let me change the details as integer value, and I am going to change the corresponding format also. Let me change the corresponding format as number. Let me change the current value as 10. Number, yes. And now I am going to add the minimum, maximum as well as step size also. So let me change the maximum value as 10 itself only. Now, after this, I am going to select an OK. When I am going to select an OK, only some part of the graph will be displayed and remaining was removed. So here you can clearly see that the sales parameter was created. Now, once the sales parameter was appeared in the parameters tab, now we are going to drag the subcategory to the filter shelf and we are going to select certain options. So subcategory onto the filter shelf, and once this, we are going to select an option called top. So in the top, we are going to select our sales parameter. So for this, I am going to select by field, and here I am going to add my sales parameter. So this is the sales parameter which was created in the previous step, and I am going to select an OK, apply OK. And here you can clearly see that some of the graphs was removed. And after creating the parameter, now we are going to right click on the show parameter and add certain techniques. So right click on it, and I am going to add show parameter control, and here you can clearly see that a parameter control was created. So when once I am going to change this parameter grid, automatically the values are going to be changed. Now a rider will be appeared. So here we are going to drag the measure subcategory onto the shelf so that we can get the colors for the particular graph, and here you can clearly see that a colors was appeared, and here we are going to select only certain things, then the graph will be automatically changed. This type of creation is called parameters creation in Tableau. Thank you.